I thought. Okay, we are live, guys.
Let's go.
Check in on it.
Okay, I am actually really curious to hear what you guys thought about this because we just finished it late last night, like a couple hours ago.
Literally.
Okay.
Horrid.
And you guys saw both after credit scenes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tyler Cardalis, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing the stream here. Okay, there it is. See, it looks like that.
Oh, that's
pretty.
rad.
It's pretty sick, huh?
Word.
Tyler Cardalis, how you doing, man? How you doing, sir?
She's already showing up.
How you doing, Shane? Shane is here. Welcome.
Hi, Shane.
Ali, nice to see you.
Be cordial. Everybody's coming in. You gotta be like, hi, guys. Hi.
Yeah, right?
Hey, welcome. I'm the mom of the group, so I'm like, welcome. Come on in. Sit down.
Come on in. Grab a seat on the couch.
You want some water? You good?
No sharing. Social distance.
Oh man. Okay, we got a decent amount of people here. How you guys doing? We are going to start in a little bit. I'm just waiting for a few more guys to pop up, and we are going to talk about this, hear everyone's opinions, and I'm going to have everyone introduce themselves in a little bit. But for those watching this on the replay, welcome to the stream. We're going to be talking about WandaVision. We're going to be talking about season 1, the finale, any other thoughts, questions that we had, any predictions we may or may not have for the upcoming stuff for the MCU, and then we'll go from there. I think let's see, thumbs up on the video. We're gonna get into that, Kevin. We're gonna get into that. Everyone's gonna have everyone's gonna have different opinions.
Yeah, everybody's got different opinions. Make sure we respect each other in the comments and we're not going after each other.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Everyone will have different opinions on this. So some will really like this, some people will really hate this, but that's what we're here to do today, is to have this conversation, to be open and free about it, and to you just share our opinions, man. That's the beauty about human nature, humankind. We all got different brains. So let's just respect everybody, like Mr. Colin, aka the Lord Schaefer, said. Tristan, how you doing? Welcome to the stream, man. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Yep, we're going to talk about this. And as we're talking, guys, through this live stream, if you have any questions about certain things or certain opinions or certain things from the episode, make sure to type it, because we're going to put it up and we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a good amount of people in here. So I think it's time to go. Let's run this little countdown thing. All right, let's go.
Pushing.
I was okay. Welcome to the stream. How you guys doing? My name is Matthew B. Haynes. This is my fiance,
Shannon, aka Cosmicbinx.
and we have some guests on the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and have them introduce themselves. These are good friends of mine, family even. We're gonna start with the man to my left here.
I'm not man.
There's one right here on this camera. You see this stream is already starting off crazy. Go ahead and introduce yourself, brother.
I'm Lord Schaefer. You see me in the comments. I am moderator both on Twitch and here on YouTube. Most of my links are at the Lord Schaefer, and I've been more of a casual fan. I do some research, but I've been enjoying everything so far.
Awesome. And we're gonna have my other friends.
I just want to
down.
I'm like,
I can't get it right.
So,
There you
I'm
go.
Rino.
Romy.
This is Romy. This is my mom. We're running a channel called Rino Universe. We just react to just whatever it is that we're watching in the moment and just see what's up. It's not really like
everything we love.
Super high class and business like. It's more just chill and enjoying the things we're seeing. So, yeah. Thanks.
Awesome. I think we should just get straight into this thing, man. We just chilling. So, whoever wants to take the floor, what did you guys think about WandaVision?
So I'll take it real quick. Start off with the first couple episodes. Donnie knows I was one of those people who came in and was like, okay, this is pretty weird. Like, what's going on? Where are they gonna go with this? And then like finally, once we got into like that episode 4, like they started showing the outside stuff. I was like, oh, that makes more sense. And then it just kicked off and it got really awesome from there. But yeah, those first couple episodes, it was really like, well, okay, how weird are we gonna get here? But yeah, by last night's episode, it was just awesome. And then I never partook in any like the breakdown videos, or I never really watched any of them. But just to see the amount that were cranked out and like just all the build up around it was pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you guys?
You want to go first?
Oh, I'm gonna take a while.
I caught it very late. I actually caught it like 3 weeks in. Like that's why I didn't react to it or anything, because I was like, I'm just gonna binge it. So I ended up watching it, and the first episode was weird, but as soon as that was done and like the next one started, I realized that it was kind of just the continuation. It wasn't necessarily like, just that far gone that nothing added up. So I was into it. And then come like the 4th episode, when everything was really like explained to some extent for like the like how it's all being run on the inside, then I kind of got wrapped up in it and got really hooked. But then coming from like that to the last episode, I was actually one of the people that was kind of disappointed. And it's not like full disappointment. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the action. I enjoyed the characters, and like the look of everything was badass. But I felt like some of the choices they made were not the best. So that's just me.
I didn't trust it in the beginning because I was late too. Like he was the one who put me on. I saw the trailer. We reacted to the trailer.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And I thought it was going to be like a comedy. I didn't think it was going to be serious at all. Or like they were going to go sideways with the storyline. But I mean, I'm interested in the form of the way that they used the grief factor of what she was going through. But the ending, I feel the same way. Like it didn't add up to everything that they kind of built it to be.
Yeah, I kind of
which was like a lot of like misdirection too. Because the whole Agnes thing, the whole Pietro thing, it was just too conflicted with I mean, come on, man. Ralph Boner? I'm not happy right now.
Yeah, that was very disappointing.
Oh, yeah, no, I know a lot of people are going to be mad about that. I know a lot of people aren't mad about that.
No, come on. Like, you wasted a great character and opportunity to, even if they were going to, like, play with us a little bit. Like, he might be from the X-Men, But, come on. An actor with a necklace that's controlling him. I wasn't happy with that.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just left it so open, like I thought at least we were gonna get Strange or somebody in there, like quick little cameo, anything to lead it in. But I don't know. I think they could have just did better with it, honestly.
Yeah.
A little bit more. Give me a little bit more sustenance. I would have been so happy.
Same.
So happy because the writing was excellent. The way that they were going about it, the buildup was awesome. But then to be like, oh yeah, guys, guess what? Later.
Yeah.
Here's White Vision. Where is he? We don't know. Where'd he go? What happened? I got my memory back. I'm Vision. Later.
Yeah. Deuces.
Where you at? Like, where did you go? I don't get it. So I'm not happy. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Make me feel better.
No,
I'm a casual fan too. I don't read the comics. I don't, I know of these characters through like here, but I was built up. Like, okay, show me. What you gonna give me now? I saw Endgame. I'm ready. Come on, guys. I don't know.
Word.
You guys gotta help me. Feed me.
That's what we're here for. Don't feel sorry for your opinion. Believe your truth.
That's their bio.
That's a bio. I don't know if do you have anything else you want to add to in response to anything that's been said so far?
I mean, I'm kind of in like the same boat because like in the beginning I was kind of like I don't know how this is gonna go. Like I was enjoying it as it was like going on. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun, you know. But I'm like, I don't know how they're gonna take it. And like towards the end, it was like getting really good. And I'm like, oh, like who's the aerospace engineer? Who's this? Who's that gonna be? And then it was like, oh, it's a scroll that. I don't know your name. I'm like
a random scroll.
Yeah, like you led it up to this giant point, and I'm just like, that's it.
Yeah.
But it was like a little disappointing, but like I'm like it was okay. Like I'm just more confused than anything.
Sorry.
Okay. For me, honestly, y'all, like I'm hearing all y'all points. I mean, I'm definitely seeing where everyone's coming from. For me, y'all, I thoroughly enjoyed the finale. So I gotta explain it in a couple ways, so maybe you guys can see my point of view. Yeah. I, like everyone else, didn't know. Yeah, I'm about to go deep. I didn't know.
Make it better, man. Make it feel better.
No. I remember going into this thing like everybody else, like everyone pretty much said so far that like I don't know what this is. I don't know what we're about to get into. And I was just like, okay, let's just see what it is. Because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to have any expectations for this. I went and did some research. I read, like I normally do with anything before I get into it. I read the comic books. I read some background stuff. Some things I knew, some things I didn't know. Like the involvement of Sword. I had no idea who Sword was up until that one episode. And then we went and researched it during that reaction. And then I started reading up more about them after the fact. But for me, I was like, you know what? Let me just see where this is going. I want to see where it's going. A little weird nuances and little hints and stuff. And every episode was like, oh, okay, what's happening? What's about to happen? And I personally stayed away from theory videos, period. I didn't want any outside information try to influence my expectations because I was like, I want them to tell me the story they want to tell me. I don't want to come to certain conclusions in my head about it. And when we all saw Pietro or Ralph,
Ralph Boner,
when we all saw him, we were like, "Oh, it's like this is lit!" Like we're happy to see him. But the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, "There's no way they're going to bring." The first thing I said, "There's no way they're going to bring the X-Men stuff in here like this." I'm like, "They're not." I had hope that they were going to do it. And I remember in our reaction, I was like, man, I really hope that they bring maybe from a different universe. Maybe he came through, maybe this is leading into Doctor Strange, more characters are going to come over and then you're going to see Wolverine. I was like, you know what? Nah, let me not do that. Mm-hmm. I literally said that to myself because I said, I had a feeling they're not going to do this because if they don't do it, I'm going to be mad. Right. So I was like, let me not even think along those lines. Let me just watch it and see what happens. And when we got towards the end, the whole Ralph thing personally didn't make me upset because I already knew at that point that they weren't going to go that route. Mm-hmm. That was just more of a fourth wall kind of thing to let us know, like, let the viewers know that, hey, we know that that this guy was Quicksilver. you guys would appreciate that, but that's not what we're doing. At least not right now.
Just a meta casting.
Exactly. Yeah. So I from even maybe 2 or 3 episodes before the finale, I already came to the conclusion that they weren't going to do that, and I was like, let me not get hyped for that. The whole Mephisto stuff, I was trolling it in every video. Literally, because everyone was like, y'all really think Mephisto was going to show up in the last episode? I was not thinking any of that. I just want to see how they're gonna tie everything up, and I didn't have any issues. I mean, I would have to rewatch the last episode because I was really hyped, and sometimes that can really get in the way of what you really think about the episode. Yeah. But at least as of right now, I really enjoyed the finale, and I liked as much as those post-credit scenes had me like, what the hell? Why? Yeah. That's what Marvel does, and they've been doing this for over a decade, and I trust them. So I want to see what they're trying to tell us. I feel like this is more of if you look at it all combined, it's a Wanda story about herself becoming who she's supposed to be as the most powerful and dangerous Avenger. And I will always stand by that because she just is. And we even said this in a reaction that one of my predictions that I feel Wanda is going to body the mess out of Doctor Strange when they fight. It's going to happen. He's going to have to find a loophole or a way to beat her because of his knowledge as a Sorcerer Supreme. That's one of my predictions.
You better bring all the books. Yep.
Exactly. So that's kind of how I'm feeling about that. My dislikes, I like to break everything down in positives and negatives. So my dislikes was definitely that the aerospace engineer thing. I think that was my biggest dislike because I'm like, man, I really wanted to see who that was because they kind of made it out to be something else. And then Tiana Paris, I feel like the cast was just trolling the audience, but Tiana Paris, who plays Monica, was like, man, I can't wait till you guys see the aerospace engineer. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, look, it's just this random scroll from Spider-Man Far From Home. Like, okay. Well, that disappointed me a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add to that. I mean, that's kind of how I'm feeling. I'm going to go off basically you guys.
I have a question. Where was Agnes all the time that she was like chilling before getting into Westview? Since was it 1690 something she disappeared?
I think, yeah.
16 something like, yeah.
She was just like waiting for this moment to pop up. Like, what was she doing?
I think
just in the comics, is there any background to like where she was, what she was doing? Anything?
Yes and no. So in the comics, she's Agatha Harkness, obviously, and she was and if anyone in the comments knows more about Agatha, if I'm missing out information, let us know, please. But from what I know, Agatha was sort of like a mentor for Scarlet Witch and kind of like taught her how to use a lot of her powers. Yeah. Which is something that I noticed in the last episode. She did indirectly sort of teach her stuff. She was the person who has the runes in the room can control and use their magic. So in a way, and I know, and someone also mentioned in the comments here, it's a good thing. She also does work with Mephisto. So that could be another thing, or for Mephisto in the comic book. So she kind of taught her something. And then they even hinted that, if I ever need anything, I'll come back and get you. And she even exposed her to that book that had all the information because she said, I'm going to learn who I am, or I'm going to figure out my powers or something like that, she said. So that made me a little bit more appreciative of what they were trying to do because she taught her but didn't at the same time. She wasn't like a direct pupil, but she was. So so that's the best way I can answer that question. I don't know if anyone else in the comic books has any other thing. I didn't see any issue with the writing, too, to be honest, y'all.
Oh, no, the writing is excellent.
Because I saw someone...
I was taken aback by that I was expecting so much more information because the writing was leading up to that kind of buildup. So I was like, oh, they're going to give us, for fans, like I said, who aren't passive, we don't really study all this stuff. I don't know what's going on. And they're like, okay, so it's open-ended, which is good, I guess, for another season. But I just wanted more from the characters that were there. Because like Monica as well, I thought she was going to like bloom fully into her, her powers. Instead of just like a few bullets, here we are. I want to see what she can do. So I guess they're waiting on it for the next movie.
I would say I feel like they set like a lot of stuff up for like for future stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas they just kind of introduce this stuff, be like, here, this is part of Wanda's story here that will get elaborated on later, and that's why it's only one season. And I feel like kind of why they cut some of some of the big payoffs or whatever, like we're typically used to getting from Marvel. Kind of got pushed aside a little bit due to the cast trolling on some level, and also them just trying to like, hey, this is Wanda's story. This stuff is happening around her, yes, but this is just a piece of Wanda's story. And obviously everybody knows from the comic books that she's the Scarlet Witch, but up to this point in the MCU, she was just Wanda Maximoff until this show, when she actually got her name and her costume officially on the big screen.
Right.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that made me really excited too. That what you just said, because like we saw like you mentioned, we already knew who she was in the comics. We know it's Scarlet Witch. We know her story. And another thing I want to mention too, as far as the X-Men stuff is concerned, her story in the MCU is completely different than what it is in the comic books. Like her daddy is Magneto. You know what I'm saying? Like she's a full-on mutant, right? We're talking about X gene, full everything mutant. That's what she is. But we already know since the introduction of her character in the MCU that we weren't going to get that Magneto storyline because at the time, obviously, the Fox Disney merger wasn't a thing.
Right.
So Magneto wasn't even a thought that could have happened at that time. So, which is my thing is, I don't want a lot of people being too upset of the fact that they're not tying in the X-Men stuff yet, just because that was not her MCU story. You know, that's not her cinematic story within Disney. And one of the things habits that I had to drop over the years, being a comic book fan, is to kind of drop my expectations for adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been disappointed time and time again over the years because I didn't get to see what I liked in the comic books. Batman versus Superman disappointed me because of that. You know, the whole death of Superman storyline arc and in DC upset me as a DC fan, made me upset about, So I was like, you know what, man, I'll enjoy the comic books for what it is. If they take any little stuff from it and apply it to the adaptation, I'll be like, great.
Right.
Yeah, see, I feel like I completely aside from MCU stuff, I feel like I learned that early on, like reading books and then watching the movies, they're two very different things. Like they're close, but they're never gonna be exactly the way you want them to be.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, I don't know if you have any other points to add to that. What is your main gripe? I think what's the one thing that really made you upset in the finale? So let's talk about that.
That's a good one. I think for me, it probably would be the Ralph Boner thing, to be honest. Like, I enjoyed everything else. But once that happened, I was just so mad. But I mean, aside from that, I mean, not much. I was kind of disappointed that Vision just disappeared. But I know I know Marvel always has a plan, so I'm just trying to believe in the plan. But it was just a little odd how he would get the memories and then just be like, all right, well, I'm out. It's kind of, so that was one. And the fact that it kind of definitely felt like it was pushing it to something else, something the end of the Avengers where you see Thanos and then you're like, what the hell? And then from then on, every end credit scene kind of adds to that. I feel like that's what this is. Now every end credit scene or something, or every finale for one of the Marvel series is going to end up having some kind of scene that kind of ties it back to this.
Right.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm trying to figure out how that would fit. And that's what's kind of bothering me the most, is that there's so many things that kind of I can see happening, but I don't see being the fitting super well as well as it could. And that's what kind of weirds me out. I don't like expectations either, so I try not to theorize or do anything like that. But at the same time, when you leave something so open-ended like this, it kind of has me okay, wait, but how is this going to tie in later then? If, are we going to have to wait till Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness to find out what happened with Wanda here? That's this is weird.
5 movies in, oh
yeah. That's the only thing that kind of bothered me the most. It wasn't even anything about it because I enjoyed it. The action was sick. I had a lot of fun with it, but
it's a nice origin setup.
Yeah, but it just felt like it was too. It felt like it felt like they had multiple writers, Helmet. They took one writer and then they were like, okay, cool, yeah, your job's done, and then they gave it to somebody else, and then they kind of just finished it up a little bit. That's kind of what I got from it, because it seemed like they built it up a certain way, and then it just was yeah, whatever. Towards the end, and I was just it was weird.
Close it off quick.
Yeah, and I didn't really felt weird about that, but that's me.
No, I do think that it would have been better if they went on for a few more episodes. I felt it was just too short to make that full story that concise. But I don't know. I just think that they wrapped it up too quickly. It's I was even saying at the end of episode 8, I'm I don't know how they're gonna pull this off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They definitely for the last episode, they definitely just kind of oh, we have all these things, let's just wrap them up here.
Yeah.
Right.
Without really giving it the credit that we're used to getting from a Marvel franchise thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, definitely that. Just the all tie-ups, they're just oh, we're just gonna tie it up. That's that, and you got to take it.
Sprinkle in a bunch of little things in between, oh yeah, look, guess what? Nick Fury's looking for you. Oh, guess what? You got powers. Oh, guess I'm wait.
Oh, guess what? You're reading the Darkhold. Yeah. Oh, guess what? You have powers. Congrats.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I agree with Shan. It just felt like it was all, let's hurry this up and then save it for all the movies that are coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, but I wanted a little bit right now.
Yeah.
I'm home. I'm not going to the theater. Can I have it right now?
Like even the after credit scene where she's like drinking the tea and doing the astral projection thing, like that's sick. She's doing some crazy stuff. I read a comment that it's like she's doing some stuff even the ancient one wasn't doing. I'm like, that's kind of true. The ancient one was just, but my thing is that like if they would have ended with that would have been fine. I wouldn't have had any issue with that if they would have given us a little more context to actually end it off, like for the rest of it. Like that's the thing that makes it feel kind of incomplete, is that it just felt like it just cut from one scene to the next, and then we're just like left there like, okay, but what now? You know, like I don't know. And I feel like that's purposeful, but at the same time, it's like, why? Why build up to then do that? You know, it doesn't kind of, I don't know.
I'm only thinking of it from the position of a person who doesn't know anything about it, watching it, versus someone like yourself, Matt, who's read the comics, does research. You're like, oh, this means this and this means that. But when I'm seeing it blindly, I'm like, okay, she's in the front of the house and then she's in the back room, like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's going on. So it was throwing me off. And he had to explain it to me, like, oh, like, what's the name? Strange. He does this, he does that. It's like, oh, right.
Yeah, can we talk about how powerful that lady is to just like casually be going about her day while her astral form is studying the Darkhold, while in Doctor Strange, everybody else had to kick their astral form out while their body was either like asleep or on the floor.
That's one of the things I talked about too in my reaction. And like when we did our reaction to the last episode, one thing I'm talking like, yo, Doctor Strange, when he did this junk, he had to sleep on the bed.
Yeah, he was falling back
out, and like,
and Wanda just going about her day, like, oh, yep,
my astral form is doing his thing, whatever. That should show you something. That shows you how powerful. But I wanted to address something real quick. Kelvin Lang made an interesting opinion that a lot of people either share or dislike. This is my opinion on that statement. Everybody's real is different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like what's real to somebody, is different. Like for you, Kelvin, like for you say what's on your mind. And I respect that. And I respect anybody here in the comments that say what's on their mind about that. That's a rare gift. Not everybody has, what it takes to say what's on their mind, But I mean, call it Marvel Kool-Aid. I mean, I don't know. I guess some people like that stuff. Some people are okay with being comfortable with that. I dig it. I like it because I accept it as what it is. It's a story. I don't look that deep into it sometimes. Sometimes I get real hurt though. If it's like Star Wars or something that I'm really invested in. Yeah. And I would get really hurt sometimes, but I'm like, at the end of the day, it's a story, man. And like, but definitely, always keep it real with your opinions about it. And like I said, everybody's real is different. Everybody's real is different. Yeah. Like for, I don't know, but what's your real? How you feel about the MCU? Overall, I mean, and Disney and all that stuff.
Honestly, I just like keep my opinions. Like, I'm not gonna let someone influence what I think, and I'm not gonna try to influence what you think. Like, you guys can have your opinions. I'll have mine. Like, I don't really care what other people gotta say. You gotta say. You gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, what about you guys? What's your point of view in that whole?
I look at the MCU more for filmmaking. Like the reason I like the MCU is because I like how they tie things in like continuity wise, and that's the reason that like story and how it flows is really important to me. Because like it's not so much the characters, even though I do love the characters because I grew up loving the characters. But for me, what really got me in the MCU is the fact that each movie connected, and that's why that's the most important factor to me. So if I see something that kind of feels a little off character, it doesn't feel like it's like supposed to be that way. It just kind of like makes me a little sketch about it. So
I know that's how you are. Like when you watch certain animes, I'd be like, you know what, bro, just ignore this part. I know you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing. But I mean, aside from that, like that's why even Monica, when Monica had her powers, she was using it. Like I wasn't sure if she kept her powers, and that's actually a concern for me because I'm like, when the cube went away, they didn't show her use her powers again. And I mean, I know this probably like looking too deep into it. She probably still has them, but because of that, I'm like, when the cube went away, did it take away her powers? Like how does that happen? Because I know her DNA was changed, so I doubt that that's the case. But it's one of those things that like if I'm not seeing it, I feel like it's purposeful. and especially with the MCU, like if you're not seeing it, I feel like it's purposeful. So that's why the fact that she didn't use her powers again after the cube went down, I'm like, does she not have powers anymore? Like that is kind of a concern for me.
I mean, to answer that question, she's definitely going to keep her powers because, one, they've been setting up Monica's story since Captain Marvel.
Exactly.
Again, I'll bring some of my comic book knowledge into this. So her, she went on to become Photon, and then she changed her alias like 2 or 3 more times.
Mm-hmm.
But she kind of took like Captain Marvel's place, I guess, a couple times in the comic books. Even her costume was similar to it. But in Captain Marvel, if you look at that movie, we saw her little Monica and little hints. And I don't know if you guys heard it when Monica was first introduced.
When she changed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, when she changed, and then when she first came back from the blip. And you heard that little thing with Captain Marvel calling her Lieutenant Trouble. So knowing Marvel, they were setting that up since the beginning. And the whole thing with the Skrulls and all that stuff, she's definitely going to keep her powers
another
into
point
the
there too.
Captain Marvel 2.
Skrull at the end, she was like, "Oh, he's waiting for you up there." So that obviously means she kept her powers.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna
it was like the one scene in Captain Marvel was like, "Oh, like when you get up there or whatever." Mm-hmm. So that was just the setup right there.
What Kelvin is saying is facts though. Like if anybody wants to know more about Monica, like I highly recommend checking her out in the comic books, man. Like she's tough. She's a tough one. And a point that you brought up too, Donnie, when her whole structure changed, structure changed because when they checked it up, they couldn't even see. They're like, "Nah, we gotta do another scan." Yeah. So I remember she was the only one that was able to enter the hex anyway. So definitely she's definitely gonna have her powers. There's no way they're gonna like knowing Marvel. I don't think this isn't DC, man. I'm sorry. This is Warner Brothers. They're not gonna set up something amazing like that.
And Nick Fury wouldn't call her up if she didn't have her powers.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
But she was supposed to be up there anyway, though. Like when she first got back, she was like, "Yo, when am I going?" And he was like, "Nah, you're grounded." What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Exactly. To be honest, man, the whole thing. And matter of fact, before I even get my opinion, I didn't get to ask you, Colin. What's your reel about Disney and the whole thing?
I mean, like I said before, I'm also one of the more casual fans where I have read some of the comics, but I've also just mostly been like an on-screen fan. So getting to watch all the stuff from the beginning, because I've been a fan since Iron Man, it's been great getting to see all the stuff and all the connections and all the little hints and things here and there, like Dave Filoni likes to do in Star Wars. For all the people who have been following for forever, just those little hints and things that all interconnect, like that makes it great. As far as that goes with the episode with this season, like I said, at first I was a little leery about it, but it was Disney and Kevin Feige and Marvel, so I knew they were eventually going to come around and it was going to get better. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like my whole view on it is I know that they know what they're doing, even if they may not do it the way we want them to. Yeah. That eventually at some point you'll see why they did it that way and you'll be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. All right, so I think we should move on to another portion of this whole thing. We got to talk about the great stuff about this show. One of the things I love about this, y'all know me and my music. Music was popping every episode to me. I loved it. And we can't forget to talk about the main star of the show, Jimmy Woo.
Welcome to the MC Woo.
Welcome to the MC Woo. Now, what are some of the positives you guys have from the show that you really, really enjoyed and you like to see them doing going forward into other Marvel shows?
You want to start?
Huh? Anybody, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, for me, it's the humor. I like that the humor was a lot more realistic. It wasn't so like tongue in cheek. It was all like in the moment, I felt like it was all real, like stuff that would probably be said about certain things, and like
common conversation.
Yeah, and Jimmy is hilarious. I find Jimmy hilarious. So I'm looking forward because I don't know if he's gonna be like the bridge between all of them or not. Because I don't know if you guys remember like the Netflix shows. It was Rosario Dawson's character that was like the nurse in like every series.
Yeah.
So I don't know if if he's gonna be that way for these now like Disney Plus Marvel. I would enjoy it personally because I think he's a fun character. I mean, aside from that, I would say the visuals were amazing, the fights were amazing. Like, I really enjoyed it, and that's what's like so crazy is that it really got me amped about the future of like these shows coming because it was really good. But this is me.
I like the psychological factor of the writing, like the idea. I'm more serious on the level of like the grief storyline, how they utilized her grief and all the different facets of how deep it ran to create different points in the town itself. Because even like when she was fearful of like impressing Dottie and all that kind of getting connected with people, like it's so sad in so many ways that they utilized it so well to make it relatable that even in watching it as a fan, you could say, damn, I felt that way before. Like I could implode, or I can, pray one day to create my own world and bring back everybody that I love. And it was just so like really soulful. The writing was incredibly soulful. I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be campy, like he said. And, a lot of like superhero-ish type of stuff. I knew of her story, but I didn't think they were going to use it so beautifully like that. Like it really made the end, even for the end, the finale was like, so sad. Like when you really think about it, how she has to keep fighting that even through learning her powers and getting stronger and stronger, but yet that tint of weakness is based in grief. That's like you can go anywhere with that storyline. That's why I love her character so much, because it's true. It's not just complex like I'm this strong chick who can do whatever I want. It's like she's really still struggling within herself, and they handled it perfectly. I love the way they wrote it out. So I mean, for me, that was my highlight, to watch that whole story unfold based on, we know she lost vision. She's trying to keep him around. Oh, look at this funny life she created. But it was still so sad underneath everything. Yeah. And yet it increased her power, I think. The grief actually elevated her power to be, even faster developed in a sense. Because she used it even in that moment when she was fighting Agnes at the end. Like, she was on that, well, if I'm going to go. But it's like, ha, got you.
Runes.
Right?
Runes.
It's awesome. I love the writing. The writing was beautiful.
Yeah.
Cinematography was great, too. I love the cinematography.
My favorite line, what is grief if not love persevering?
Exactly.
Yeah, word.
Exactly.
Yep,
That's what I'm talking about.
What about you, Shan? You got any, what's your highlighting moments?
I just think I just love that there was all different like twists and turns that like, I don't know. I feel like this was a good introduction into what's to come. Like I felt like it was like the perfect intro almost. Like it's like, oh, Scarlet Witch, like y'all don't know like the craziness she's going through in her head after Endgame. Like this is what's happening. And it just made me appreciate her as a character so much more.
Yes.
I feel like that was like the main thing that I loved about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely, along with what Donnie's mom was saying, I enjoyed like the whole conversation centered around Wanda's grief, and also just like the idea of being able to like go deeper into her psychological traumas and all that kind of stuff, all the way from that episode where we got all the way from her childhood back in their home place, and then all the way through that she went through with Agatha. That was really cool to see that, and to her kind of showing that, hey, you had all these traumas, you had all this stuff, but look what you did in those times, and look how you got through it, and look how it made you who you are now. So that was really cool to watch, because like I don't think, as far as like a big fan base like Marvel and stuff, like you haven't seen a lot of stuff that's on that depth.
Right.
True.
Exactly.
So that was really good. And then, like Matthew said, the music was really good, and the cinematography was really good.
Yes. Excellent.
So I enjoyed all that, and then also getting to see like the other people relate to it, like Monica at the end, where she was like, you know, given your powers, I would absolutely do the same thing you just did.
Yeah.
Like,
Heck yeah.
you don't even have to ask me a question. Like, I would do it right now. If I had that power.
Yeah, like some people would lie and be like, "Oh man, you're not." Nah, I would
Like,
say,
nah, I wouldn't be that way. Like, bro, come on. Yeah, like, bro, come on. We know if you given that chance with that power, boom, you do it right now.
Heck yeah. I Thanos snapped my way back into everybody's life. Like, you come back, you come back, you come back. Yep. Everybody gets a new chance at life. You get a new soul. You get a new soul. Everybody. That's real. That's real. It's real. Even that part with and then when at the end, when the people were saying, when we sleep, we have your nightmare. Like that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
that was crazy.
Yo. That freaked me out. I was like, imagine that you're stuck in that town, you're enslaved, and then on top of it, when I go to sleep, I have to see what you went through. Man, that was some deep writing. That really
show. They did really good at like scaring the mess out of you, and like just doing all these really intense like stuff.
Yes, she was younger.
Yeah, the scene when she was younger with the stuff with the war and all that stuff. That's some deep stuff, man. Like,
I was impressed by that. I was really impressed by that because in Age of Ultron, they mentioned that real fast, like her and Pietro, and I was wondering if they were going to stick to that because right before I showed Jay the episode with Pietro popping up, I ended up showing her Age of Ultron again so she could like get familiar again with his character, and that real fast. And I was wondering, like, are they gonna show this? And then sure enough, boom, they freaking showed it. I was hype. I was
scared
like,
the life out of me. I didn't. You know, you think they're gonna show later on when something happens to the parents, or I was picturing, when she's putting them to bed, and it's like boom, you know. But it's like the show just started, and he's like, whoa, that was harsh. But that's real life. That's what really affected me. That's what I mean. The sadness was like, this is too real. I don't know if I want to continue watching this show because it's real. It was beautifully done. Like, it really brought you there into her journey, into the reasoning why she is the way she is. It's just so like, I get it. I totally get it. That's why I feel like I was hungry. I wanted more from her. I wanted to see more, you know. But I guess they're gonna give me what I need.
Add to what you're saying, like I'm echoing off of what you're saying because I agree with everything. I'm really looking forward to seeing how much depth we get to explore with all the other MCU characters. Like, this has me excited now for Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like,
yes,
Anthony Mackie said we're gonna see a lot of his backstory.
Yeah,
like, let's see it, you know. And it makes me, because and I would always say this is the difference between Star Wars and the MCU, and why my connection to Star Wars is a little bit more deeper is because you not only have the movies and the shows, but you have canon storylines in books and comic books that further develop, you know, certain characters. Like, you know, Ahsoka. I really love Ahsoka mainly because of other stories in the books that were part of the actual character story. Whereas like Marvel is just like an adaptation of the character. So you may bond with the, you know, the version of Vision in the comic books, but you may not bond with the version of Vision in the MCU because they're almost like two different people. So what this show now does with these shows is to kind of give us that depth and, you know, some of the tones that Mom was talking about, like, you know, the grief and, you know, just getting to see, you know, getting people's headspace and like really getting to know these characters. And that's some of the things I feel like this, you know, going forward in the MCU with these shows, you get more of these shows, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. It's going to give us more. And it's just going to grow the fandom. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
I'm here to stay. I'm definitely here to stay. I want to see what happens.
With Falcon Winter Soldier, I hope we see that too, and I hope we even get to see some of that when they get into Loki. Coming out. Like, I think that like this, seeing what happened in this makes me really interested to see like what's going to happen with Loki's storyline and how deep they're going to go with that. And I think like a lot of the stuff, like I can't remember exactly what it was said, but I remember hearing like Kevin Feige was saying like from Age of Ultron that they kind of briefed over it because he didn't really think anybody could like really relate to it that well with all the story and stuff. But then he said like with all the stuff that's been going on for the past year and all that stuff, he felt like he could present that the deeper side of Wanda and all that other stuff and feel like more general people could connect to that on a greater level after everything that's been going on.
Nice.
Great.
We got a question. I'm gonna start reading some of these comments.
Okay.
Who wants to take this one out? This is a really good question from shout out to Deco. Been in everybody's streams. Deco's a homie, man. Shout out to Deco. But this is a really good question. What part do you think White Vision will play in the future? And I'm gonna add to this question. What do you also hope to see with White Vision in the future? Who wants to take this one?
I'll take it.
Bet.
I think he's gonna diffuse Wanda. I think when she's going a little too crazy, she's doing like a little too much, he's gonna be the thing that brings her back.
Sun setting down, sun's going real.
Yeah, exactly. She doesn't know about him. She doesn't know that he left. She doesn't know that he got his memories back. She has no idea. Like Vision did that on his own, and then he dipped, and then Vision never mentioned it. So we gotta assume that she doesn't know he's even out there.
Wanda, we got it, Wanda.
It's okay, baby girl.
I'm back, baby. What you mad about? I'm back.
He's gonna put it behind her like, you lost, baby girl.
What about you, Colin? What you feel about this question?
I feel kind of like Donnie a little bit. I hope that he comes back in a time where like I feel like Wanda's gonna be like either gone in too deep or going somewhere doing something that's either beyond her or is too dark, and then he's gonna show up in some way. And even though he may still be just like this version of Vision where he's not like fully Vision, but he at least has access to the memories and stuff, and he can kind of pull her back from the dark. But as far as like what part he's gonna play, like I don't know his comic book backstory, so I just hope he's around to give us some more great one-liners, because he's given us some great one-liners in this show and some really deep stuff too.
Lord.
I like, for me, the whole stuff with White Vision, man, like stepping stones, as we've been discussing so far this whole stream, stepping stones, and just building things up. And I definitely agree with Donnie about the whole diffuser thing. He about to be like a whole essential oil diffuser. Like, ready to go. It's lavender. Calm down, Wanda. You killing everybody. But I want to shout out real quick a YouTuber named Logan Swish. He was over on Knight's channel, and I heard this from him, and I want to mention it. I don't want to take credit for this statement, so that's why I'm shouting him out. But he said he made a really good point about the whole thing with Wanda. He felt that, and I have you voice your opinion on this, but he said that he believes that Wanda was more drawn to Vision because of her connection to the Mind Stone. And it's not necessarily that she was really too much in love with him, but in love with the Mind Stone. And Vision was more attracted to Wanda because of his connection to the Mind Stone, because he was birthed from the Mind Stone. So that was part of his soul. So he believes that was a really integral part of their connection. So now this Vision no longer has the Mind Stone. He now only has memories and a bunch of billions of dollars worth of vibranium. That's kind of what he is now. So now I think Vision's going to have to try to find a new personality and his place in this new world without his connection to that Mind Stone. So once again, shout out to Logan Switch for that comment, because I feel like that was a really good way to look at it.
Yeah. She just said it when the hex was closing. She told him like, "Oh, you represent my sadness and my connection to the Mind Zone." Like she kind of nudged at that a little bit.
Yep. And Adam mentioned he did say this before the episode dropped. So
okay, nice. Hey.
Yeah. So he kind of called it. That was a pretty good one. But yeah.
No, I think overall, obviously he's gonna come back into play like when Wanda's like going crazy or something, and she's just gonna reject him completely. She's like, "You're not my Vision. Like this is not anything. You have his memories, but you're not him. Like you're just a weapon." So I don't think she's going to be too happy with it, and I don't know how it's gonna go, but I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna turn out well for her.
Yeah.
That's a good point. All right. I have to co-sign this statement.
Yes.
I have to co-sign this statement because The acting, I think, was one of the most diverse I've seen
Yes.
from Elizabeth Olsen, and also
For
in the
sure.
MCU in general.
I agree.
It went from being Bewitched, I Love Lucy,
Yeah.
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 Dick Van Dyke Show, all those different types of sitcom-esque and having a transatlantic accent. And like, dude, she's doing the whole thing. And I'm like, man, that's amazing. What y'all think about this, man? I co-sign this heavy.
Yeah, I do too.
100%. 100%.
The one that sold me was Vision with the magic show. Where he was like, flourish. And that's greatness. And that's it. After I saw that episode for like the rest of like a week or two, I just kept saying flourish just because of that. It's great.
Oh my gosh. Let me see. We got another good question here. And those who watching in the comments, if you guys have any good questions for us or any statements, I'm going down the line. So if I miss anybody, just retype a comment. This is an interesting statement again from Kelvin. Kelvin coming out here with these statements. I see you, Kelvin. What y'all think about that? What y'all think about this? I kind of but
it's a comic book trope. Like it that's just what they do.
Yeah.
Like it happened with just all of them, like a bunch of Marvel characters, recasting them, killing them off, bringing in new people. Like when they switched over the universes or like switched ownerships. I know it's happened in the comic books a lot. I'm sure it's happened has it happened in the DC comics at all? Do you know, Matt?
Like killing off characters and bring them back.
Yeah.
Man, that's DC staple.
Yeah, so I mean, it happens in both universes. So like, it's just a comic book staple thing. Like that's just what you expect. Like it's gonna happen.
Man, the amount of time
Batman's parents. Ooh.
Batman's parents. Yeah, they didn't do. I mean, they technically did bring his dad back in the Flashpoint storylines.
Yeah. They're gonna kill him again. Watch.
I mean, true. No, I mean it's a comic book. It's a comic book. It's a cool man. Like that's just what they do. You know how much time they kill Superman behind? They kill him like. And I'm reboot the universe, man. I think we're on DC's. Let me see. It was the Crisis on Infinite Earths. There was going through the ages now. So let me see. 3 New 52 Rebirth. We had like 4 or 5 reboots of the daggone storyline.
Mm-hmm.
So. It's definitely and Marvel too, the countless reboots. Oh my lord!
My only concern with it, is the memories.
Yeah,
Crisis. I feel like Doctor Strange was either off doing something or he knows about it, but they kept this show. They wanted to keep the show small and about Wanda. Mm-hmm. So look, after watching all of the episodes, that's why they didn't keep him in, or they didn't bring him in or anybody else in. They wanted to keep it about Wanda because it was WandaVision. Mm-hmm. I feel they could have obviously brought him in if they wanted to. I think if they were going to do multiple seasons of the show, they might have done that. Mm-hmm. But because they kept this to one season and it was about Wanda and about Vision, they kept them out of the story. I feel like you'll probably get an explanation when we get to the movies or something, or maybe a later series or something. Yeah. There'll be some explanation for it, but because they wanted to keep this about Wanda and about who she is and what she's gone through and getting her name and her outfit, that's why it's gonna be that's why they kept him out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a very good question, y'all. Where the second part of this question, the last sentence is what I'm really interested in. Where was Jane Foster when Darcy left to help? What would eventually she realize is the hex? I'm not really going to address that one, but this question I want to talk about. How would you think Vision would feel knowing the children isn't his, but the hex Vision's?
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of weird because. That's my question for this as well. Like, did he transfer his memories? Or did he just unlock the memories of Vision? If he transferred his, then that means he would know. He would feel like that's his.
I think he unlocked the memories that were in the old one. I don't feel like he transferred the new memories because those were just like Wanda's creation of him. Mm-hmm. And the kids were also just Wanda's creation. So they technically weren't like created and born.
Yeah.
But with the ending end credit scene, I feel like there's going to be at some point where who knows what part of like where the kids are or what's going on with them, but that she can hear I think those will be the actual versions of them, like the flesh and bone versions, rather than her creation of them. So I feel like those two are gonna come back eventually when Wanda does whatever she's doing with the Darkhold.
Yeah.
So I think the stuff that happened in the Hex won't be referenced in terms of that.
Yeah.
Do you? This is a good question. Do you think that Wanda will be an ally or a villain in Doctor Strange? Because we know she's filming it right now.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
If she doesn't pop up in between somehow to like change that opinion, I'm gonna say villain based on how things are going right now.
I agree. It's looking that way.
Yeah.
They're definitely setting up, especially having her just studying the Darkhold just casually, and then having her hear the kids' voices. Because obviously, if she goes after them and tries to bring them, like obviously that's gonna unlock something. So she will be set up as the villain. Whether or not she is the actual villain, I don't know. Or if she like gets, because she's going through the Darkhold, if like something like kind of like possesses her or takes over her or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like they could do something through that storyline. So I don't think she's obviously going to be like a bad part of it, but whether or not she's the full villain, I'd say it's a little hard to push it that far just yet. But it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah.
And Nate says Mephisto holds them. That could be true, but this is also the screen adaptation, so we don't know if it's going to be Mephisto.
Yeah.
Man, look, man, I'm going to say this once. Stop talking about Mephisto.
There was one fly on the edge of town. It's got to be.
Oh, man, Mephisto was my left toe. Like, stop. This Mephisto confirmed. Like, this can is Mephisto. Lord have his mercies.
Listen, Matt, he was a squirrel in the tree in the census squirrel. Okay?
Right.
It was him.
I would love.
Agatha did Transfiguration. Mephisto.
I would love to see Mephisto. To be honest, I really would. I would love to see Mephisto.
Oh yeah, I mean, we'd all be happy to see it. Like if they do it right, sure. But like, let's tamper the expectations a little bit.
Man, look, I want to see Mephisto. I want to see Silver Surfer. I want to see Galactus. All right, but I also
we want to see the X-Men coming over. We want to see all this stuff. But like, let's be a little more realistic about it.
I want to see $1 million in my bank account tomorrow. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, me too.
Chances of that happening?
Watch you get $1 million tonight.
Oh, I wish, right? I'm quitting
I'm
YouTube.
just gonna see the squirrel that I think is Mephisto in my backyard.
Oh,
And DJ, that I know that's part of like the comic books, but again, it's also this is the screen adaptation, so they might change their story a little bit.
Like
so
with Wanda and Pietro, they were literally children of Magneto.
Yeah,
that's a major change.
Right. In this story, they're just two regular people. Well, not regular people, but you know, they're just two people.
I mean, I think that Loki might have hinted at them being mutants, though. Loki, I still think that room exists just because Scarlet, Wanda had her powers before her interaction with the Mind Stone. She kind of hinted at that with her, that she took off the that, or maybe Marvel is just trying to introduce witches or hocus pocuses. I don't know. That could be the thing. I didn't get to ask you about the whole Vision thing. What do you think? The whole thing with his parents and all. I mean, the whole thing with him being a dad and whatnot. And do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean,
okay.
I pretty much have the same opinion.
You can just move on from that. By the way, hit that subscribe button for Reno University.
Hey, thanks, man.
If you guys have any questions in the comments, please ask us. I don't know how much time you guys got running left for you. What's your time looking like for you guys?
Chill.
I don't got anything going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm relaxing.
20 seconds.
Exactly 20 seconds.
Oh man.
I have one question.
Yeah.
You could help me with. Why is Monica so upset at Captain Marvel?
That's a real good question. I was thinking about that too. I don't have
thought you
exact...
knew.
No. I don't have the exact answer for that. I don't.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in the comics. Like something happened.
I haven't come across personally anything in the comic books that explains that. If anybody else in the comments know her answer, I mean the question to her question, the answer to her question, the question to her question, the answer to her question, let us know, please. I have a theory.
Me too.
You know,
hear yours.
My theory is just based off of the MCU storylines of the fact that she kind of indicated that she was going to come back to see her again.
Oh, okay.
And she didn't.
I was right.
That's actually really good. That's actually really good because she only came back to fight Thanos, and that's probably like 2 years after she already passed, right?
Passed, exactly. She didn't come to support her.
That's yeah, that's a good point. Okay. See, I took it the super dark route, and I was thinking, you remember in Watchmen how Dr. Manhattan like impacted a lady by like kind of causing her illness?
Yeah,
because of the radiation that he was emanating. Since her mom passed from cancer, I thought maybe Captain Marvel.
That's a good.
But I honestly, I think you're more accurate though because that makes a lot more sense with what we've seen. So
I mean, it's a more family-friendly answer.
That too, yeah. It's not Watchmen, you know.
This ain't DC.
Like, I came to see you. I gave you cancer.
Yeah, DC be like, man, look, bro, we just gonna kill you, and
and you dead for now.
Dead. Like that's that. DC.
Word.
Gotta love DC. I mean that's a really good theory though. I mean, I could definitely see that being a thing because of all that cosmic energy, that Captain Marvel, all that Kree stuff going on, all like going on. It's possible that it could have been something that developed over the years. She might have blamed Captain Marvel for it because she was mad tight at the side of her name.
Right.
She was like, "Don't you say her? We don't talk about her right now."
Anyway,
I thought
that was your mom. Like, what happened?
Word.
I was like, I thought she was upset that she wasn't there when her mom died. But I'm like, she was fighting Thanos. Like, give her some slack. She was trying to save the universe. Come on.
Word. There you go, Javon.
Javon said it. Like, I think that's kind of might be what it is.
That's what I was thinking.
And we might get an answer in Captain Marvel too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we might.
It's gonna be Monica's gonna be tight in the movie. Like, where were you? I hope not. No family drama.
Jimmy Woo did get powers. He went to that magic website and he learned how to do the card trick.
Jimmy Woo is the best superhero.
Jimmy Woo is the best superhero, right? You saw how he broke out those handcuffs? Man, that's a Slayer move right there.
I got a question for y'all. Do you think we're gonna see the Netflix heroes again at any point?
Ooh.
The rights just got reverted back.
Yeah, that's a good question. I would want to.
Me too.
I would want to. You haven't seen any of that.
I haven't seen a single one.
Yeah, she hasn't seen them. The
only
one
one
I
I
haven't
was
seen was
disappointed
Punisher.
with Iron Fist. That's it.
And that was Iron Fist. I reacted to the first episode, and then I just never watched it again. I was like, bump this show. This is not Danny Rand. I'm like, bump this. I'm like, no, this is supposed to be like a guy who killed a daggone dragon.
Yeah.
And he's like hopping over fences and getting tackled by random low life people. I'm like, bump this.
Yeah, I ended up watching that whole thing just because it was part of like the lead up to the team up. So I was like, I felt like I kind of had to watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, that was Iron Fist with that story was definitely the least interesting out of all of them. As far as seeing them again, I hope so. Like, because Punisher was really good. As Matt was posting, Luke Cage was pretty good, and hope his stuff gets continued. And Jessica Jones, a lot of her stuff, like also dealing with mental issues and all that other stuff, was definitely really interesting. So to kind of bring them back would also be good. And Daredevil is obviously really good, and he got plenty of seasons. I would like to see him again, but I feel like if we got more of the other ones first, I'd be okay with that, just because they didn't get quite as much. So I would like to see them again. Whether or not we actually see them again or not,
Yeah.
who knows?
I
do like the Nate.
But you wait, hold on, let me put this comment. No, I think about the Netflix Marvel stuff. I feel like a lot of those shows were down to earth.
Yeah,
Really hit on some hard, like real life situations, especially like somebody who's familiar with I ain't trying to get my location, but somebody who's very very familiar with
the area,
Harlem, the Bronx, and like going up there a lot all the time, and just being around those environments. To see Luke Cage, like I've actually been on a lot of those streets that he's been on, like where they were filming those stuff. So it's like I could see myself, and even Hell's Kitchen too with Daredevil. How much time I've been over in Hell's Kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see, so I could always see myself just like living in one of these apartments, and then just Daredevil just swooping through, beating the men. Like, but it was always down to earth, and it always hit. These heroes struggled, and I feel like they were like the back end of. You have the big Avengers always in the front of the line, almost invincible, if you will. But then you have these Netflix guys that are just like, yeah, we're sort of invincible, but nah. And like, Luke Cage, they're either dealing with rent issues, they got girlfriend problems, literally people trying to destroy, like with Luke Cage, they're trying to like destroy and gentrify the whole neighborhood, like messing up everything. And it was a whole really deep, good stuff. And then also some really cool superhero stuff as well. So I don't know how that tone would fit with the MCU. Yeah. But I'd definitely like to see them back.
Same.
In one way or the other. And I heard the rumors about Charlie Cox being the lawyer for Spider-Man. So
or like Charlie Cox showing up in She-Hulk,
That would Do you know anything about Daredevil, like what he does?
Not a single thing. I know he's like blind or something. That's about it.
Yeah, so like
you should react.
You should react to it. That's how you should react to it. I won't get into it, but when he's not Daredevil, he's a lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, there was a rumors that he was the actor from Netflix got cast to, for some role in the movie. So insert role here. So remember how remember at the end of like Far From Home how they just put him on blast and just like put his whole identity out. So a lot of the big going theory right now is that Daredevil's going to come in here and handle business. So that's kind of what will be really cool. Let me see. We got a good question here. What y'all think? Y'all think Vision gonna create a second family? Nah,
that's actually a good point. I didn't think about that.
What you think? What you guys think about that?
Oh man,
I mean, Donnie, you want to go or?
Yeah, I mean, real quick, just honestly, I think that would destroy Wanda even more.
Right?
That would be awful.
Got a whole high family on the
let's view the planet.
Right?
Oh man.
Don't do it, Vision.
Yeah, I feel like right now if that were just like they cut from here WandaVision to him doing that, I feel like I would like, and then him just showing up randomly, I would absolutely do that. As a casual viewer, I don't know anything about his second family, so that's interesting that he had a second family.
I do know he had a second family in the comic book.
So cutting from here straight to him just magically showing up, I feel like that would like really send her off the deep end. But I mean, hey, it's possible. But I feel like right now it's more like he's going to rediscover himself. So I feel like he's not at that point in his character arc where they left him at the end of the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know he did have a family in the comics that are like all android. Do you remember that one comic strip I showed you?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, when he was just like all Vision clones, like little Vision. So that'd be mad messed up. Wanda would be like, when Wanda tilt her head, it's about to go down. Wanda would be like, word? Okay, Vision.
Okay. Just red light in my hand a second.
Oh man. Good question here. I think it was Nick.
Yeah, I think it was Nick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Yeah, I think it was Nick. There's no doubt about it because we saw him in Far From Home with the Skrull, so that's kind of what he was.
He has a connection to all of them, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's got to be him.
Nick was like, "Man, I'm kind of done with Shield. I got no business over there. I feel like leading somebody else. Let me just go to space. Bumper. I'm done with Earth."
Yeah, I could see it being Nick Fury. I mean, if it's not Nick Fury, obviously it'll be real interesting to see who it actually is. If it's not, and why it is they're calling on her. But like, I feel like everybody's like, yeah, it's Nick Fury, and it's gonna be that. So it'll be interesting to see. But there's always an outside chance it's somebody else.
True. Yeah, I was just reading that. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. He made a good point.
Yeah, but Fury's Fury.
Right. He's gonna show up and he's gonna do Nick Fury things.
Oh my god.
You know what? It was the cat
That's
scratch.
funny.
The cat scratch gave him immunity to the cosmic radiation. That's what it is.
Your wife is she said he was out. Vision was like, I don't know, Donnie. I don't know if you saw that meme I sent you with the if I'm a head out was a person.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I was Vision was
Accurate.
out. Vision was out. That's my funny, bro. Props for comedy. Press F for laugh. Let me see. What if the Skrull at the end was actually taking Monica to prison? Took her form? Then Monica and Captain Marvel 2 would be revealed to be Skrull. That would be interesting if they were to bring the Secret Invasion stuff in, but I think it's a little too soon for that. Not Phase 5.
Also, isn't Secret Invasion? Isn't that gonna be like a production or like a series? Wasn't there something about that in Disney Investor Day?
I think I think they did mention something.
I think there was like a Secret Invasion or like something invasion from Disney Investor Day.
Yeah.
So I think that's getting its own storyline. But yeah, taking her to prison, she wouldn't have looked that excited if she was going to prison.
It's a very good point because the Skrulls play a very huge role in the Secret Invasion. So that's a real good one because I heard someone else say like the whole thing with the Marvel is that they would show you something like 10 years ago. It might be like a little map on the wall, and then they're like, okay, we have that map. We're gonna use that map later on, but not now. Like even the stuff with Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, we saw that junk in the first Marvel. Like we saw that in Iron Man. We even saw one of the 10 Rings members, the bald dude that got bodied, right? He was one of the 10 Rings members, so they were already hinting at that since the beginning. So that's
maybe like 5-10 years from now, we'll see.
Exactly. Maybe 5-10 years, you got to go back and watch WandaVision because that's a really good point. The Skrulls have been involved heavy since Captain Marvel. So yeah, good point. Good point. Definitely got to keep our eyes out for the Skrulls. Let me see. Let me see. The kids might be locked up in hell or nightmare dimension.
It's possible. It could be like obviously that's linked to the source material and that's what's in the comics. But again, right now the only thing that we know is that they're locked in the Darkhold. That's the only thing we know for certain.
Yeah.
All the other stuff is linked to the source material, but they change it and they've changed stuff for the big screen and other characters past as well to make it different. So it could happen, but right now the only thing we know for certain is that they are locked in the Darkhold and that Wanda's probably going to go after them to get them out.
That means Doctor Strange and Dormammu or something about to be scrapping. They about to just as soon as they pull up, just Dormammu and Doctor Strange already got beef. It's over.
right. Yeah, I'll never forget. I laughed so hard. Doctor Strange, Dormammu was pissed.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain.
I was like, oh my god, let me go. Damn, bro. Dormammu was probably like, all right, I'm gonna just go consume another world, go watch Netflix or something later. He was not out there all day. God, patience.
I want Ghost Rider so bad.
Mm.
So bad.
I mean, we kind of technically. I mean, I don't want to talk too much about that, but we kind of technically, already got that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Technically.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, it kind of already happened.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion shows. Yeah, I mean, Secret Invasion. I see. I mean, it did come out 2023. It did take place in 2023. So we'll see. We'll see. That's a very very good point. I haven't even thought about Secret Invasion at all until this comment section. So that's a good thing to bring up, man. Got me thinking now because them Skrulls probably in there like, we finna. All right, forget it. You know.
Lord. What if Hayward was a Skrull?
What if Hayward was a daggone Skrull?
He was always kind of sus to me.
Yeah. And the people that
openly have an alliance with Hydra, like most of them do. Like you didn't see a Hydra symbol anywhere.
Exactly.
So possible.
And we don't know exactly who arrested him. The FBI agents could have been Skrulls. You know.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
Word.
And like, okay, Hayward, you had one job.
I mean, there was one Skrull there. How to say there wasn't more?
I mean, we know from Captain Marvel that Skrulls are already on Earth. Since the 90s. So there's probably a crap ton more Skrulls just chilling somewhere in the skies.
Yeah.
Mephisto confirmed.
Mephisto confirmed. That's it. That's all it is.
That's it right there. Because the Skrulls are here. Boom.
All the Skrulls or Mephisto. Let's see. Keanu Reeves Moon Knight. I don't remember him being Moon Knight. It was Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac.
Oscar Isaac is Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Give me
that could introduce Punisher. If they want to play it that way.
Could do that. It could be that way.
I just hope if they do, I just hope they keep John Bernthal as Punisher because
please.
Bodied that.
They have to.
Perfect.
I don't even know if they're gonna knowing Disney. I don't know, man. I don't know if they're gonna do that.
They probably won't, but
I would love for them to. Let me see. When do you think Wonder Man? I don't know if they're gonna explore that storyline. To be honest,
yeah,
I don't think they would do that. Who's to say they might? Because they might have some ways to do that, but I don't know.
Wait, wasn't there? I think some people were talking about. Was it Wonder Man or was it another character?
General Grievous. Man, I think you know what General Grievous is Mephisto the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole Grievous all along. Now Palpatine is Mephisto. That's just what it is. You know. A matter of fact, you know what? Yeah, Red Skull.
Red Skull, yep.
Red Skull, Mephisto. Y'all been sleeping on it. Go back. Remember the one scene at minute 32:55. If you slow it down to 0.25 seconds, right? You slow it down to that speed, you will see exactly his eyes for a split second. Mephisto confirmed. That's it.
His ear showed up in that frame.
Oh my god. All these memes, man. Oh, I just highlighted my Streamlabs bot. How advanced do you think technology will be? Because you have to remember the MCU is 5 years ahead from Avengers Endgame. That is true.
That's true.
What y'all think about this? And it is Red Skrull. I'm done. But yeah, no. What do you guys think about this question? It's a good one. It's a good one, Deco. Keep the questions coming, guys, and we're gonna wrap up in a little bit.
I think it's gonna be definitely futuristic soon because already in Endgame things are already looking a little advanced, so it's probably gonna not jump too far from what we have because then everything's gonna look too cluttered and fake. Yeah. But it's gonna be like it's gonna definitely be advanced in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like the biggest hint we got towards advancement was seeing them reactivate Vision through Wanda's powers.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like the biggest leap we saw towards going towards futuristic technology.
I agree with that because look how quick the turnaround time was on that, and being able to have a fully functional Vision, almost like what Ultron should have really been.
Yeah,
that's kind of what Ultron was supposed to be. That was the actual. That's what Ultron was trying to make. And they were able to replicate that by just doing that. So the whole thing about the Skrulls, maybe Hayward being a Skrull, and I'm thinking about it. What that whole team, all of his whole posse,
true,
was Skrulls. Because they might have the knowledge to the alien tech to kind of and wisdom to kind of finesse it.
Yeah, because I just realized something that they had a whole white Vision in like 2 weeks or like a week of Wanda being the Hex. Because when she first showed up to the headquarters, he was in pieces. So like a week and a half, they have Vision fully put together, like advanced looking, brand new. And
fresh coat of paint.
Yeah. Like how did they even have, I just read, like it didn't even click until this very moment that it was like literally such a short amount of time that they just rebuilt them.
Like an unpainted model kit.
Oh my god, I was trying to get that pop. I put the email in to try to get a notification. By the time I got the notification, as soon as I went out, sold out.
Dang.
R.I.P.
Scalpers, man.
Ridiculous.
I might get a PS5 quicker than That's not
I think comment Andy has a good to see an interesting theory with Peter Maximoff and him being actually Quicksilver. It could happen. It could have just been a meta casting. So it'll be interesting to see if that does actually turn into anything.
Could have been
for the future. It could be just like Matt said, one of those, the map on the wall. It's there for use. That character is a fish. Like even though it's not Quicksilver, and he kind of got pushed off to the side. The roadmap is still there.
Yeah. So many clues that were dropped in. Yeah.
Why did they wait 5 years to even remove Vision's parts?
Yeah, right.
The blip. I don't think anybody was really thinking about Vision until they got the world kind of settled in again. It's kind of like what's going on with the pandemic now. Like everything was kind of in shambles when everything began, and now everybody's slowly trying to find a way to get back to stable life. Yeah. So I think 5 years of having like half your population gone, the world is in shambles. Like everyone who was in certain positions is gone. So people either have to now relearn certain things, get more people to, wait for another generation to kind of grow up a little bit older, just before they can take over the reins. So, I mean, that's probably why, to be honest. If that could be one of the reasons in the realm of possibilities.
I do kind of find it sus how he was in parts for like 5 years and then he's remade in like 2 weeks though. That's a little weird.
That's a sus part, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Wanda throw up a hex, man. Throw that boy together. Let's go.
Let's get Lego pieces. Let's go all the way back
together. Oh man,
Jimmy, where's that part? We need to get that in your stat.
It was delayed due to COVID. That's why it was delayed due to COVID.
Word.
Yeah. Oh man. Wait. Can we talk about Elizabeth Olsen, Scott? And Scarlet Witch. Man, I've been talking about that outfit all day yesterday. We've been talking about it the whole day yesterday. Like that was, I think, a defining moment for me in that episode. Was just kind of seeing her. This might be a little on the nose, but Shannon mentioned a good point yesterday about her not being in a skirt for once.
Yeah,
kind of like what they did with Supergirl. She wasn't in a skirt. So that's it shows that she can still be beautiful and crazy and strong without having to be in a skirt. It's a little nod, but the design was dope.
Right.
Yeah, all y'all love.
They all love.
Everybody's struggling. It's COVID, bro. Everybody's struggling right now.
Everybody down bad. Everybody down bad.
Johnny, you little baddie. I hate that song so much. I think they waited Wanda to arrive so they could rip Vision apart. Trick Wanda. True.
Maybe.
What if they had already had him set up, but they just re-destroyed him just to kind of trigger her?
Yeah, true.
That's a go, Jay. I see you, Jaden. I see you. You got the question there.
Or they just created basically like fake parts that looked and felt enough about him that because when she said she didn't feel him, like
Exactly.
maybe it wasn't actually his remains that were there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Roswell, New Mexico stuff, the switcheroo.
Yeah.
Fake
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I was kind of thinking that too when it was going on. I'm like, what if this actually isn't him? Like they're just like, oh, it's just like styrofoam or something.
No, they definitely got metal in there because like they were grinding on that stuff, so it was definitely metal.
Yeah.
But like whether it was actually him or not, you know.
Word.
Mhm.
He was like the scratch where you get like the code. Like he's like scratching. Like, wait a second, what the hell? It's just like a whole streak is gone.
I want an Amazon card.
Good question.
Yes. Maybe not the fight, but I do believe that her tinkering is going to be an impact in Falcon Winter Soldier.
But let's
For
not
sure.
forget, though, I think Winter Soldier, I think that show was supposed to come out before WandaVision initially.
Initially, yeah. Well, WandaVision was supposed to be like after Doctor Strange. It was supposed to be like way at the end of this current release of shows and movies and that stuff. But they flipped it and they put it first. So they might throw something in towards the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I feel like they had already put most of Falcon and Winter Soldier like together and filmed it before they shot this.
Yeah.
I remember they continued filming back in Prague once they got the okay last year. So it is the possibility that they could have added some extra stuff, like you said,
True.
at the end, or maybe re-edit it in a way to add something in the beginning to kind of throw like a little nod,
True.
to that, So maybe.
I find that weird though, how like because Black Widow was supposed to come out before all of this, and then
Exactly. Yeah.
now it's all like out of order, and I'm trying to figure out like how that works because MCU normally has things planned out so that everything like impacts the next.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. I don't know.
Don't know. Maybe this goes because I feel like this is just my opinion, and I know some people might be upset by this, but Black Widow, I feel like is really not that important for the story. That whatever happened in that, it wouldn't affect anything going forward, no matter what order they put it in. Because I think that movie is like a prequel almost, right?
Yeah, I think the Black Widow movie is like its own thing.
Yeah.
Where, like you said, it's a prequel. It's going to be a nice backstory where she's now getting it, even though it's after everything's already happened. But like, there might be like one scene that they use, like going forward, like maybe towards the very end or something.
Yeah.
But other than that, like you said, I don't think it's going to play hardly any factor going forward.
Because didn't it take place during that 5 years that people were gone during that snap? So,
I think so. I think they said like Civil War.
Yeah, because that's an unexplored timeline too.
Yeah.
Between Infinity War and Endgame is a not really explored too much besides what we've seen in Endgame. So I don't know. I don't think it'll really affect that. I don't know.
I think the biggest switch, like as far as like the reordering of everything, was switching WandaVision from towards the end to the beginning.
Yeah.
I think if anything, that was the biggest change.
True.
Javon made a good point. Yes, but I don't think it would have mattered if it came out after. Because even if they moved Black Widow to next year, right, and we get Hawkeye. Oh no, when's Hawkeye supposed to come out this year, right? So, is it this year? I think it's this year.
Yeah.
I think it might be like November.
Like end of summer, early fall.
The end of the year.
Yeah, I think it's like the end of the year.
Yeah,
because Loki's coming out like I think around the summer.
Midsummer.
Yeah, it's like May or June.
Yeah.
2021. So like if my thing is, man, because at the end of the day, WandaVision, Black Widow is a prequel film to me. That's what it's been advertised as to me. That's how I perceived it, as a prequel movie. So it doesn't matter. That movie could come out 10 years from now. and be like, oh hey, this was Yelena. She was in we saw her in Hawkeye. It's cool to see her backstory.
Yeah.
It's like the Star Wars prequels coming out how many years later? Like 2 decades later, a decade later, or a decade or two later, right after the Return of the Jedi aired, and it's like, oh yeah, these people we already saw them in the old one. Nice, cool,
Yeah.
Like that's what I see Black Widow to be. I don't think it's that necessary of significant importance in order for it to push the story along, which is why I don't think Disney, if it was that essential, I think Disney would have done everything in their power to make sure that released first.
Yeah.
Before, because narratively it wouldn't make sense if it was out of order, if it was that crucial to the storyline. So obviously we're supposed to get a release date this year for May. I think they schedule it for May. So yes, we're getting it, but initially, but like you mentioned in this at the beginning of this whole thing, Donnie, is that this was supposed to come out since last year. That was supposed to kick off this new phase. So
yeah, if it was that important, they would have pushed everything else behind it and to make sure that this came out first.
Like what they did with Eternals and everything, they made sure they pushed that back.
Right.
And they pushed Shang-Chi back too. Because those stuff is important, and I think everything from the other shows and movies will directly affect that stuff. So Black Widow, like again, I'll just say it. My opinion, I could be wrong. We won't know until we see it, because maybe I'm completely wrong. But just in my opinion, I don't think it was that important, man. I just think it's going to be a good little nods, and it will help with the story building. But I don't think it's important in terms of the order as to when it comes out. But yeah, so you don't know if you have any more questions. There's Hawkeye falling. All of it's later this year. I think so. Captain Marvel 2. 100%.
Somebody asked, do you think they'll do anything with Hayward in the future? I feel like he was kind of for this show. I don't think he's really going to come back. They might bring him back for something, but I feel like with the story of this show, I feel like he was kind of cast for this show, and that was kind of it.
I feel like it's either going to be Skrulls or Doctor Strange 2.
Look, Hayward is Mephisto. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Obviously, I mean, he has to come back.
Hayward is Mephisto, so that's just that. Zachary Butler, we're not doing a join-in stream right now. Maybe I can set something up like that later on to have you guys kind of join and talk. But we're about maybe an hour and a half into the stream. We're gonna be wrapping this up very shortly. If you guys don't have anything else you want to talk about, so maybe next time, Zachary. But I'm glad to know that you guys are interested in doing something like that. So I'll definitely work towards that. Wanda still thinks White Vision is bad.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, true.
She has no idea.
No,
That's very true.
Next time she sees him, it's just ducking and weaving the whole time.
on site.
You gotta see her instantly, like, I remember.
Chill.
I remember it's me. You see my eyes? Look, my eyes.
I'm literally a white flag. I'm
You gotta get a paint job. You said the shop was closed, Wanda. They couldn't fit me in. COVID kind of slowing down the appointments. Mephisto is actually the Hulk. I bet, that's true.
Obviously,
like that's obviously true.
Obviously.
My question for you guys: what was your favorite WandaVision intro?
Oh, I already know.
The intro sequences.
Baby Vision, 100%.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Family Ties version.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The Office one was good. I like the Office one.
Oh yeah.
That was cute. Yeah.
My favorite is the 80s one. I repeat that song I have that song on repeat.
I like the 90s one just for nostalgia, because it was just straight Malcolm in the Middle, and I grew up on that show.
Facts.
I didn't. That's the one show I hadn't seen in depth. Only a couple episodes. Except the first one. The second one was the WandaVision. That one was a good one too.
That one's definitely the catchiest.
It's the catchiest one.
Yeah, it is.
Favorite song though?
Agatha all along. Agatha reveal. I think it was just plain fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was just trying to be fun, you know. Just
Yep.
fun with it.
Creative.
And what's crazy is she called that Agatha killed Sparky, and I was there like, nah, I don't think that.
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, she killed that dog.
Yeah.
You're like,
we knew that.
The dog. I'm like,
She was holding it. He was like, oh, however, did he get here?
And I called her a witch too. I said that witch did it.
Yeah.
I'm psyched.
Mephisto.
Mephisto did it. Mephisto confirmed. That's it. Sparky was Mephisto. Sparky was Mephisto.
Right. That's why she killed him. She's like, you can't show up right.
Exactly.
Yeah, another 10 years.
Another 10 years. I mean, we still got so many other villains to introduce. We got what's his face name, man? Kang the Conqueror. You know, Kang is going to be a big one. What's his face?
The God Killer. What's his name? That Christian Bale's gonna play in Thor.
Oh yeah,
I forgot all about that. But yes, him too. This question here: Does Wanda think the Darkhold is a secret to restore her family? Also, how did Agatha get it? Since we saw the bug in the shield. Yeah. What do you guys? Yeah.
I would be interested to see how Agatha got it.
Yeah.
Wanda doesn't know anything about it. Being the secret to restoring her family, she was studying it and reading it because Agatha was reading about her to her from the book. So she's like, well, obviously you told me that my lack of knowledge is my problem. So I'm going to study this book because obviously it said everything about me. So it's got to have some good stuff in it. While she was reading it, her kids called out to her. So prior to reading it, she had no idea that was going to be the answer to bringing her family back. She probably didn't even think it was possible until she got to that very point where we saw at the very end when her kids called out to her. And then also whether or not that's actually her kids or not, also something we have to figure out. Or if it's just some entity of whatever they have in the Darkhold that they're going to bring into the MCU, whatever entity that is, will be interesting to see. But yeah, up until the point where she heard her kids called out, she probably had no idea that was even possible. She probably accepted that they lived in the Hex, they went away with the Hex, and that was the end of that. And then, like I said, where she just knew that Agatha read about her and the Darkhold saying that the Scarlet Witch was forged and all this stuff, and that her lack of knowledge was her problem. So she's like, well, this is a good place to start.
My question is, what language is this daggone thing is? How could she read this? When did she learn to read ancient, script or whatever? Because, at remember at I saw Javon bring something Kamartaj, right? In Doctor Strange, because of his photographic memory, he was able to learn a whole different language in order to read certain books. So he had to do the time. So what kind of language is this thing in, though? Or because of her powers, you think she can just kind of switch it to a language she understands?
Possible. I mean,
she learned,
They said in the show her magic predates the Sorcerer Supreme, so who knows, like, the actual depth of her magic. Maybe the first couple pages she just started turning, and all of a sudden, just boom, she could read it.
Could have something just kind of snapped or clicked or whatever. Yeah. So I was just kind of thinking about that. There's a Sanctum. she sneaks in while the Agatha theme plays in the background. She's just like a classic villain. Goes in there. Doctor Strange would know. He would know. He would body her too. I'm like, heck, you doing? This is my sanctum. I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. What you doing? I'm not even gonna read that. I saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm not even gonna read that comic because I'm not even there yet. I'm on season 2, so I ain't gonna read that. Yep, everybody's talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We're gonna move on.
Somebody was asking. I've seen it a couple of times. They're wondering if anybody from the X-Men universe felt the snap.
Yeah. I don't think that's possible, because
I don't think so.
When they went to the Ultimate Universe to get the other stones, they didn't know what happened. They had no idea. And that's in like the same MCU, like continuities. I feel like the X-Men probably are just like, what is that? What's happening? They I don't think they know.
If anything even happened,
Yeah.
they probably won't even say anything about that. Like it probably won't even matter.
Even the ancient one was like, "What you doing here?"
Yeah, right.
It's true.
I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's anything else that we missed from.
Oh, I have no.
Oh, what are y'all predictions? What are your expectations? We can actually wrap out with this. What are your expectations for Because we got a whole break. So next week we're going to be getting the making of WandaVision. So that's going to hopefully that show that special will give us more information on that because they're releasing that next Friday.
I actually didn't know about that.
Yeah, no, next Friday. I think it's called The Making of WandaVision or something. I don't know, some special. They're going to show you behind the scenes stuff. What are your expectations for Falcon and the Winter Soldier and everything going forward? So you got a break to really think about it. What are some of the stuff you want to see or you hope you see?
Background, lots of background.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say outside of the Captain America storyline that we've seen in the movies, and then all that other stuff, like I don't know or care too much about either character, since I haven't read too much of the comics. So I just hope that the backstory would be good, but just more character development and kind of explaining, like, obviously Infinity War and all that stuff happened. So going forward, how did they take up the mantle of Captain America, and then where did they go from there, and kind of what's going on?
Yeah.
And then obviously, I feel like this show gave more expectations towards Loki in a way, just because of they're going with the Time Variance Association. I think is the name of that, and just all the types of like this show where every week, like, you never knew what could happen. Like pretty much anything could happen. And now they're going into Loki with the Time Variance Association, and just the trailers we saw where like everybody's like, well, that was dope, but I don't know anything about it. Yeah. So I feel like this show's kind of put more expectations towards that, where, hey, anything could happen. Somebody might show up and be like, "Oh, that's a big thing," but it's just a meta casting or whatever. Like, you see somebody just walking down the street. Oh, hey, look, there's Thor, but it's just not him.
It's just Mephisto.
It's just Mephisto. Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, I mean, obviously, Falcon Winter Soldier, I'm gonna watch it. I just hope it's a good show and there's good writing for it. Like I said, personally, I don't care too much about them. I kind of want to see where their story's going, and maybe it'll lead me to care more about them. Right. But I think, like I said, this show definitely put more expectations towards Loki, and like, what are they gonna do with that show?
Yeah.
She said you breaking her heart. She loves Falcon, and she loves her Bucky and her Sam.
My boys, I've been waiting to see just them being highlighted, specifically Sam, because like I love him so much. Just like I've watched like so many like behind the scenes stuff with those two specifically. That they're my babies.
Yeah, no, they're behind the scenes stuff. Like their banter back and forth is great off camera. Like I love to see that, and I hope they carry that over to the show. I just feel like up to this point, like, obviously I care a little bit about Bucky. He's had some good backstory from Captain America, but I feel like Sam and their stuff, like, they've developed him a little bit, but he's still kind of off to the side more. Where Bucky's more main than Sam is at this point. But I do absolutely love their chemistry and their banter off screen when they're doing interviews and all that stuff, and how they mess with Tom and all that stuff. Like, that stuff's absolutely great. I love them for that.
That was legendary.
But as far as their actual characters on screen, I'm still kind of like, like, I want to know more about them.
Yeah, I get you.
Same.
I'll get back to you after that.
Schedule Zoom call.
Yes.
Yeah, Donnie, we need to hear from you. What are your thoughts on you and Mom, what's your thoughts on?
What do you think?
Same thing. I want to see their backstory. I don't know much about them either, so I'm interested, especially in Winter Soldier, because that drew me in his own movie. I was really intrigued by him, so I want to know more. And their dynamic is the same thing. I love it. I love the way they interact with one another. So I'm looking forward to seeing it extended into more like storylines.
Yeah, I'm hyped for the buddy cop feel, and
Buddy cop.
and I really, really, really want to see some like intense power, or not really power, because they, Sam doesn't have powers, but like just like I want to see their skills to the extent of them as a duo, because I feel like that could really make it. Like if they do some action scenes like Cap and Bucky versus Iron Man type stuff, like that's over. Like I'll be hyped, but because Anthony Mackie was in Ultra Carbon season 2, that was really good, and he was really good like doing action. So I'm really excited for this, because this could be something big, especially we already know that Bucky was kicking ass in Winter Soldier. So I feel like having the two of them together could just be crazy, and I'm really hoping they go in with it, and it's not just all information. I want it to be like a lot of action, because we got Wyatt Russell playing U.S. Agent. Like he's a nice actor. He was in Overlord and he was killing it. And I'm so hyped, because this show has like everything that I'm really looking forward to. It could feel like a Netflix Marvel show in a way if they play it right.
Yeah.
And I'm just like really amped for this one. So I'm really amped for that. And then Loki coming up with Owen Wilson, my boy. Like I'm so hyped for that too. Like it's gonna be amazing the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. My thing, like, we got 6 episodes or something like that for Falcon Winter Soldier, so they got to make those count. And going back to what we were all discussing in the beginning, which I think was the biggest error for the last episode of WandaVision, bringing it back to that, was the length. I was hoping for an hour. I honestly wanted an hour. I really love an hour, but no, we didn't get that. So we had about maybe 45 minutes and change, excluding the end
credits.
So that was a little bit, the pacing was a little bit rushed. So hopefully these 6 episodes are really deliberate and intentional with the writing and straight to the point, but also giving us the things that we like about these characters. Because like Shannon, I love those two. And just to bring like a little bit of the comic book stuff into it too, I loved Sam's story as Captain America in the comic books. He's a very great Captain America in the comic books, and he has a unique way of fighting with the shield and the whole get up and everything like that. Both of them were Captain America in the comic books, and they both were great. So I want to see how they're gonna. I can see that's one of the shows I can actually see going on for multiple seasons, depending on how they end it. Kind of like Mandalorian, how it was kind of like a continuation of like chapters and stuff, and the whole thing with Zemo. So I want to see how that goes. But even their banter in the comics and the relationship in the comics is something that I would like to see on screen. And we've already seen a little bit of it. Especially, I think one of the funniest Falcon and Winter Soldier moments for me was when Steve was getting that kiss, and they were in the back of the seat. And they were like. They're like, okay, and they were like arguing each other. Could you move over? No. Like it's just a little like they're like brothers that grew up together that just don't like each other. And I kind of it's like Captain America's the dad or something. It's like brothers, So they said Javon said I heard also each episode is going to be about a longer than WandaVision. So hopefully, I really hope that we get that.
Yeah,
they don't give us like really slow stuff.
Yeah,
try to pile in everything in the last 2 episodes. That would really suck. I think it's a good
like it's Zemo, man. Zemo knows how to press people's buttons. Like we can't just have
Please. Gotta run.
Oh man.
No, you were saying, Donnie?
No, like Zero knows how to press buttons. We saw he was in the Civil War, so I could only imagine what he's gonna bring up. And it's like after seeing WandaVision, where she came straight to like the headquarters after it looked like she was in the same fit from Tony's funeral. Like they might do the same thing here, where like maybe Sam just gets the shield, like he just took it out of Steve's hands, and then that's when the show starts. You know, like it could be right away, and that would be insane.
I think we got a little bit of that from the trailers, like when Anthony, Sam was kind of poking at Bucky when they were out on their run.
Yeah,
he was kind of like poking at him and trying to get him to like talk to him.
Yeah,
so I feel like that could be like part of one episode.
True,
could be. Yeah, all of that stuff that we actually saw in the first initial trailer, I think might have just been all episode 1.
Probably.
And maybe everything could have just been even all the trailers could have been just episode 1.
I mean that's fairly on track for kind of the way Marvel does their show, like kind of did their shows.
I agree.
There will be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
I agree with that. I have high hopes, man. I think it's going to be a lot more people are really more hyped for this show than they were for WandaVision, just because they kind of have an idea of what they're going to get with it. Yeah, no, I'm excited. U.S. Agent, I want to see how they're going to tie that into the stories. Because it looks like a lot's going to happen in these 6, man. And U.S. Agent is beast in the comics too. So even though he's a ripoff Cap, it is what it is. I want to see how because he has a shield at some points and they have the shield.
Yeah.
Do they just come in and just confiscate confiscate the shield? I don't know if I was about to say confiscate. That's not the right word. No, man, that would be crazy. Just come in and just take the shield. Okay, yeah, it's ours. Government property now.
Word. I mean,
this is government property. Okay, give us the shield. Turn it. You'll be back on the wanted fugitives list again.
Back again.
I wonder if they'll do like what they did in the recent run for Falcon and the Winter Soldier comic books, where they kind of had Bucky. They kind of owned him in a sense. They're like, hey, you know what? You were kind of like a criminal, a terrorist. We're gonna forgive you if you do work for us. And that's kind of what they did. He was kind of working for them, and if he only messes up one time, they always had that lingering threat. Oh, we'll just throw you back in jail, or we'll kill you, or they'll execute you, or something if you don't do what we say. So I wonder if it's gonna be a similar situation where they kind of like, low-key threatening him. They're like, yo, if you don't work for us or do these missions for us, you're gonna go back down. We're gonna
that could be it.
Back on timeout. Yeah.
And the truth is, Zemo knows the phrase to get him to act up. So like he could probably go after Zemo, and then Zemo's just like, ha, train car. And he's like, damn it, and then you can't do it, like.
But if I'm not mistaken though, didn't he undergo some type of stuff in Wakanda for that? Yeah,
he did. They kind of helped with the not really the memories, but like I guess
they pulled it out of him.
Yeah.
He was in that little hut for a while. I remember that little thing coming out of his little muscles. I'm like,
Word.
Relaxing. No memory.
Shane's comment though.
But also like, could that be his daughter with the different storyline now?
It's his daughter.
Oh man.
I mean,
old Cap is looking at her niece like, I remember it all.
Banjo intensified.
Oh my god.
I can't with y'all. Y'all are just crazy. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys wanted to address. I think we pretty much covered the majority of basic opinions on the show. I don't know if anybody had anything else they wanted to add to this.
Sure.
Any questions? Anybody got any questions in the comments? One last question.
Spirit. I cleansed it all out.
Sure, you got no more rant. You got nothing else to empty out.
Loki being a serious version of WandaVision, I don't know. Loki's pretty funny, and like he has a lot of offhand slapstick comedy.
Yeah, word.
It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a lot lighter than WandaVision. They might give you they'll give you serious doses for sure, but him that storyline being more serious than WandaVision,
Yeah.
especially with them talking about her dealing with her grief and all that stuff. I don't think you can get a whole lot deeper than that.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Loki, I think Loki's gonna be a better Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's a good point. I see that.
Because the whole time thing, you know, and I feel like Loki is gonna drastically change the actual timeline. You know, do some CW stuff with it, and change some stuff up. So I don't know. But I do agree. I do think it'll be like really fun, lighthearted, because it's Tom Hiddleston. He just loves doing like crazy.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So you got a really good question to go.
My only thing is the memories. That's what always bothers me when they kill off a character and bring him back, because they do it from a different timeline and they don't have the memories that made their character grow.
Yeah.
So how do they handle that? Because even with Gamora, they haven't answered that yet.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I think they're using it as a way to kind of restart.
Yeah.
But, look, man, I said this in the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
They spent 10 years doing this.
You
know, a decade planning everything from beginning to end. This is not a Japanese mangaka just writing as they go along every week, just kind of figuring it out as they go. This is something this is not Warner Brothers. This is this is Kevin Feige, and his reputation is there. What more do you need? You know, he's proven himself this last decade. So I just say we should just trust the process. And
for sure,
enjoy it. Yeah.
And JV Vibes comment, I wonder how he's gonna play a part in Doctor Strange 2. He's probably not. Like there will probably be like one or two things like they bring in from these shows, like WandaVision and Loki and all these other like mini series that they're going on. But like the stories that happen inside these Disney Plus series won't be like drastic impacting events that go forward into the movies.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they're their own separate storylines that happen here in the Disney Plus series. And then what happens in the movies, there might be a hint or a nod to it. There might be like a little caption or a picture or a little piece of information that comes from it. But as far as like it directly impacting the movies, I really don't feel like it's gonna like this is a big storyline event that's gonna go forward throughout the rest of the phase.
I personally think it is. On the contrary, I think it is. Just because this is still part of this phase of the MCU. This is not like a side story kind of deal.
Yeah.
Everything that's happened in WandaVision will directly affect her character in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And to talk about the Multiverse of Madness, real quick, it's called the Multiverse of Madness for a reason. like especially with Iron Man, trust me, nobody's going to be dead, man. Like nobody's dead. Like, it's not going to happen. They like if you kill everybody, you got to remember Disney's a business, right? They want to keep this stuff going for as long as they can for the next generation and the next generation and so on and so forth. They're not going to try to end their biggest cash cow in multimedia. They're not going to do that right now. So and you know that's just my opinion on it. But I think a way that they can bring Iron Man back is by introducing Iron Lad, which can also. This is just a theory. It's a crazy theory. If they don't do it like this, it's okay. But it would be really cool though if to see Iron Lad, which eventually becomes Kang the Conqueror, which they already have sort of confirmed Kang the Conqueror, because Kang was Iron Lad in one of his previous lifetimes, right? One of his previous, so he was Iron Lad. So that would be a really cool way to introduce, and we already have a confirmation for Ironheart too, Riri Williams.
Yeah, Ironheart. Yeah.
You know? So we got Riri Williams coming up in here. And we got all these other great shows. So I feel like all these shows directly will impact and affect the MCU because it is the MCU. Because everything in the movies affected the show, so why would it not be the reverse?
Well, yeah, I mean, so like I think I worded it wrong. Like I feel like the series are going to be contained, and they're going to have their stories, but some of it will translate into the movies. But also there are parts of it where it's written just for the series itself.
Yeah. I know, and I agree with you on that for sure. I don't think they will like they want to address every single thing that happened in the shows because that would just take up too much time from the movies. But it's more like a situation. If you've seen the show, you'll benefit highly with the knowledge of having seen the show.
Yeah.
Because like you can't just go and watch WandaVision, in my opinion, and enjoy it without seeing the movies. I think you have to see them to really understand. It's not a show, but because because Disney took a real risk with it, but because they're Disney and they have such a big fan base of followers, they already knew just releasing a show, they would already get millions of viewers every week because most of their fan base already seen this stuff. So it's not like they're trying to they're fully invested in it. So but yeah. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add, or that's it.
Julian.
Yep, I'm good here.
Yeah. Because
we're fine.
Yep. I mean, unless there's anything else to mention, because I can't really think. I was trying to think of something else. I don't know.
I'll do a wrap-up question.
Okay.
What show,
we had like 3 wrap-up questions, by the way.
What show coming out are you most excited for?
Out of all the
again, I hear it.
What show out of all of the MCU shows that's coming out are you most excited for?
Loki and What If.
For me, it's Loki, just because I love Tom Hiddleston and I love Owen Wilson and I love the characters that they're using. So I just want to see who they use. I want to see what happens.
I'm edging on Winter Soldier and the Falcon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with let me see, who am I with? Everything.
The universe.
The universe. No, I think the most I'm actually really excited for is actually Miss Marvel. I want to see Miss Marvel. I want to see how they handle that story.
True.
With this, especially with this new actor, this new actress in Hollywood now. I want to see how they do that because that can be a really genuine, fun show. And She-Hulk too, because Mark Ruffalo might show up in that too.
True.
So so there's a lot of shows, but most of all, the show I'm most excited for is Ahsoka. All right, anyway.
Sideswipe me.
We have to have that's a whole other live stream.
Yeah, that's a whole other live stream right there. We had to definitely do a Star Wars thing because what I'm thinking too, guys, since Bad Batch is coming up, I want to, if you guys are down for us to plan another one of these type of streams for the Bad Batch. I don't know if Mom could join yet because she didn't catch up.
I'm good. I just restarted Clone Wars, so I'm good.
Yeah, well, we'll try to film as much as we can to catch up in time. So
I'll be in the back coloring.
Wait, are we going to do it for the end, or are we going to do it like for the beginning?
We can talk more about that later.
Yeah, I feel like it'd be better for the end, though, honestly, because then we could recap the whole thing like we did with WandaVision. So,
okay. I mean, I'm thinking of doing a prediction live stream, kind of like just to kind of hype it up.
Yeah.
So,
we can riff that, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't join that one, it's cool. You can just join the recap one, like what we're doing now. Like that's completely okay. But I definitely want to surround the vibe. It's okay, Mom. You don't gotta. I don't want you to stress yourself out with it too. Enjoy. Take your time. Enjoy the show. Because
I have my headphones on, coloring while y'all talking.
Yeah, definitely take your time and enjoy it. Don't rush it too much because there's some great storytelling.
Yeah, definitely.
So amazing.
And you just finished it not too long ago. Facts upon facts.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I read that and I was like, yep. Okay, yep.
Maybe if we do a Flash one, if we do a Flash discussion, maybe because she hasn't seen she's seen the MCU stuff, but she hasn't seen like WandaVision. I gotta get her to watch that actually. But and Star Wars, she hasn't entered that world yet, so she wouldn't be able to join that one. But the DC stuff, yes.
Agreed.
No facts. No lies detected.
No lies detected. I don't really agree, but okay.
That's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
That's fine. Because I'm loving the High Republic, so that's all I'm gonna say. Martian Row is everything. But
yeah, I need to catch up on that. Like I've gotten into a couple of the books, but I haven't gotten all of them yet.
Yeah, I got the other one pre-ordered, the other two for the audiobook, so we are here. Yeah, no, I think that's it.
That's a good place to leave it,
I think it's a good place to leave it. Thank you guys so much for being in the stream, y'all. Thank y'all for making your schedule available to us to do this. Because this was awesome. I liked it. You know, Colin is like, you know, now waking up when we about to go. We about to end the dinner time.
Yeah, y'all about to go get dinner and go to bed.
No, but Mom, Donnie, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Make sure you guys follow everyone here. For those who are not following Shan, check out her channel, Cosmicbinx. Check out Reno Universe. The links is all in the description box below. And also don't forget to check out my boy Colin on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, all the same name. Make sure to check them out. And for the chat, you viewers, thank you guys so much for being here and talk with us and nerding out with us, because it's always fun to have a conversation with you guys. All these Mephisto stuff. Mommy Masters Mephisto. Don't tell her I said that.
Definitely don't let her know. That's
Don't tell her I said that.
Yeah, no, Deco. I mean, I paid $50 to this daggone StreamYard. I'm definitely gonna use it again before the month is up. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, that's it. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye. Peace. And